I just wanted to talk about egregores, which are non-physical entities, thought forms. For today, I'm just going to relabel them as parasites, because that's truly what they are. They're there to gather and obtain your energy. The world is run by parasites. I believe this planet is on a bigger scale an experiment, and they're here to harvest, like, not in a bad way, but like, if we can't ensoul our DNA, then this experiment kind of just gets recycled, let's say. And it's like, fuck, this is serious shit. I thought this was a game. In metaphysics, this is a game, but it's kind of like your soul's on the line, and your soul's the plasma bubble around your body. It's your long-term memory. Let's just say, if you really want something, if you really want to change the world, and I think this was a Steve Jobs quote, the people that can change the world are the ones crazy enough to believe it. And it's not crazy to believe it. You really can if you believe it. The thing is, though, parasites, which are everywhere, they're not just in people. They can just be kind of like hanging out at parks or graveyards, or we're talking ghosts and all that too, but in a lot of cases they're leaking charge, and that's why they're parasites. But yeah, if you really believe you can change the world and all that, then the parasites, which is pretty much everything and everyone around you, are going to make it extremely difficult for you to obtain and do the things that you're really trying to do. It could be very well possible that a lot of interactions you have with people is not actually interactions with those people. It's actually interactions with the parasites within the people. And because you're a healer, you're triggering these parasites, which you can call entities or egregores, esoteric metaphysics, and their thought forms, right? And they get scared when they notice that you might leave them, right? Their whole goal is to survive. That is all that matters. Survival. Which I assume you would want to survive too, right? So I'm not here to cast judgment. But yeah, they'll do whatever they can to survive, even at the self-destruction of the individual. Because, that's their Hail Mary, I guess, right? That's just reality. The world's run by parasites. And until you come to that realization, you're going to be struggling, because everything and everyone around you is just going to drain you. And I'm speaking to the healers out there, especially, because a lot of people won't even have the empathy or the capacity to understand what I'm saying, because their heart isn't full. They're not expressing unconditional love 24/7. They are leaking charge, or they are parasites. Now, I'm not saying that's who you are in the deepest level in your soul, but if you do recreational drugs or any form of external bliss, scientifically speaking, your soul becomes porous like SpongeBob SquarePants. And astral parasites dig in then. It's feeding time. If you want to experience what it feels like to have astral parasites or be around them, go to any bar. Everyone there's soul is porous and has parasites in it. And they're all leaking charge everywhere. And these parasites, they ain't getting enough. They need more. This is survival. And this is a lot, thought forms, entities, non-physical entities, but they're parasites because they're not self-sustaining. This is really just simple metaphysics. I wish someone explained it to me like this. Especially if you're a healer out there. Boy, oh boy. This would have saved me like a decade of my life. The world is run by parasites. Get over it. detach from that. They are a blind intelligence. It is not personal, but the world is run by parasites. They'll do whatever they can to survive. It's a blind intelligence. They don't hate you. They're just surviving just as you would. And they survive off of energy. People that have energy are especially even more tempting. If you have a big aura, you're really implosive, and you have a lot of charge, speaking as an electrical engineer, it's fucking dinner plates out, bro. And they got the fork and the knife. And I'm speaking to the healers, okay? Because you're a fucking filet mignon. You know what it took me a while to realize? And I hate to say this, because I doubted myself. Belief is the most important thing. Backed by a strong emotional charge. That's just random. That just came out. I didn't mean to say that, actually. But going back to what I was originally going to say, is that not everyone is created equal. It's just like playing one of those RPGs. Oblivion, Morrowind, Elder Scroll games, Fallout. You know, you got the stats, 2K, whatever. Everyone's good at different things. And some people have a bigger aura, a bigger soul. The plasma bubble around your body. Because of their astral hygiene, which is supposed to be the most important word in the dictionary, which I don't even know if it's in the dictionary, though. That's how ass backwards this society is. And that can include, astral hygiene can include what you eat, your environment, grounding, a book called Earthin. This is science. The Schumann's resonance is the Earth's heartbeat. That's a good thing to tune into because it's naturally healing. It's, regeneration, rejuvenation, negentropy. Also, the centripetal force from the sun is good. Not good, and what destroys kids' attention span is the poisonous mercury lighting, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, the 5G towers, right? Aluminum or tin box is pretty much fatal for your soul, and especially when you die. You do not want to die in a tin box because it won't work. It won't be a successful death. But you got to take care of your soul, because that's how the world's run. And I would say 99% of the time, these parasites that are running things, it's not necessarily anything personal. It's not even the family member or friend that you know. It's not even them. That's not them. You know what I mean? That's the parasite. And I'm not trying to say in a possessed way, but it's a serious matter. I mean, especially as a healer. It's hard to diagnose how you feel after you hang out with someone, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer to really process or understand how you're feeling, or the delayed effect of the individual that has been draining you. And so you gotta be aware of your consciousness. And I think with healers in particular, a little bit of isolation now and then is not a bad thing. A little bit of self-love with yourself. If you can't do that, then you're going to struggle being a healer, right? So as within, as without, or as above, so below, right? So, I mean, you got to have your cup full, right? Before you can help other people. Have the cup overfloweth. But yeah, you got to, parasites, I think, this should be the number one focus for any healer. Not everyone's created equal. That really bothered me at first, but I was putting myself in a box which was merely a lower frequency, which that frequency was most likely controlled by a parasite in a lot of ways, because I don't view anyone's frequency really truly who they are. I think their potential is just as well as mine, right? But due to parasites or other thought forms or lower frequency entities, which are parasites, right? They're not truly who they are, because within them they're pure gold, and that's what I see. But over the last couple months, I started to realize I'm not talking to them a lot of the times or all the time. I'm literally I'm having a conversation with the parasite directly. Like, I'm talking and the parasite talks back to me through the human. I'm not saying this in a possessed way, but as a healer that really wants to heal people, I always, even my mom said, she's like, the problem, son, like when I was little, she said this, like, is that you always see the good in people. And I was like, yeah, I do. That's the whole point, right? But there's a deeper warning to that. I have to see what is parasitic also. I can't just be forgiven and allow myself to be drained, because then my potential to help people, my reality, my frequency is all limited. I'm putting a ceiling within my own desired reality that's half, not even half, it's a millionth of what it could be. My ceiling's all the way down here when it could be past the fucking screen, you know? It could be infinite. It is. But I'm limiting it because of parasites. And so a little bit of isolation now and then is highly recommended, because you're not going to have the clarity, and a lot of what you experience or what you truly feel is going to be a delayed effect, because this whole reality is a delayed form of consciousness. So I feel like the things that happen deeply within you, it might take a little bit more time. You have to give it a couple days sometime to really truly feel or understand how you felt, or understand that interaction you had with that individual, person, place, event, whatever it may be. That parasite, you have to really, give it some thought, because without that, you're not going to have the clarity. And the parasites know how to operate in this reality, and they're not stupid. They're very sneaky. Very sneaky. For real, though. This is Metaphysics 101 right here. And they will do whatever they got to do to survive. And that is draining every drop of charge, electrical charge that you have, which is pretty much what you are on the deepest level, speaking from an electrical engineer perspective. You want to have charge and you want to be implosive, but parasites want to exist, and they don't have that stability and that implosiveness. So just like hybrid reptilians and reptilians are parasitizing off of us, just like greys are parasitizing off of us, just like whatever else is parasitizing off of us, the politicians and all that. This is on a multi-dimensional levels. And it's just going to keep, just like the movie The Matrix, you're a battery for them. And your potential, your frequency, which is whatever, every frequency becomes a reality, and your frequency is your reality, then whichever frequency you're operating at. So it will use the environment, it will use the situation you're in, and the timing of it is not a coincidence. It's a synchronicity, and it's there to control your mind, your spirit, your soul. And it will use the physical, it will use the world, it will use the material, it will use the places, people, events, circumstances, whatever, to control you and keep you within its confines, within its box, within its frequency. I repeat this, I know, and I'm sorry. But it's important to understand that. Because without that understanding, you're never going to raise. You're going to be limited within the reality of which this parasite exists in. And that's not a fun reality, trust me. The potential and the possibility is literally infinite. So why would you confine yourself? Why? Number one, overall, last rule, I'm done here. It's already been 20 minutes. Isolation, meditation, retention, astral hygiene, grounding, environment, people, places, events, all need to be systematically controlled. Not all the time, but enough time for you to blossom. Thank you. Love you.